This race completely broke me. It was my second attempt at the 100-mile distance, and I massively underestimated this race. Kullamannen is UTMB's Swedish event, and because they don't have any mountains in this part of Sweden, the race has been designed to be as hard as possible. You start at 6 p.m. at night in November when it's going to be cold and dark. They hold the race at a time of year when the moon is at its smallest, so it is pitch darkness for the first 13 hours of the race. And because the race is held in November in Sweden, there's a high chance you're going to get bad weather like Swedish winter storms or high winds, and you're on the coast, so there's no protection from it at all. Pretty nervous right now. Here we go. Oh god. Oh, so we're just making our way out of the town. Oh, that was a wild start. It's still super windy. Hopefully that'll clear up soon. We are just running straight into the wind at the moment. It is pretty brutal. We're right by the sea. And yeah, this is hard work. Done just under 5k. Oh, it's just like relentless wind. We're an hour in, done 9 kilometers. Still probably moving a bit too fast, but yeah, looking forward to getting out of this wind. A little bit of a break from the wind. We're just coming to an aid station, which I think is called Merli, where we're going to go through 3 times. So we're going to go around Kullamannen twice, and this is where like all of the elevation and the technical running is in the first section, so nice to get this little first section done. Here we go. Oh, this is the first checkpoint. Oh, thank you. I just got a wristband that says 148 kilometers to go.
That's not very motivating.
I really struggled mentally during this race. Those 2 loops around Kullamannen were really tough, really steep, technical terrain, covered in leaves because it's proper autumn over there at this time of year. And all of the trails were little roots and rocks, so there's constant chance of tripping over.
Oh, I don't know if this comes up on camera, but this is like a little beautiful seaside town with like looks like a hotel up on the hill. Oh, it must have a beautiful view in the daytime. Heading up onto Kullamannen now. Oh, it'll be really good to get these 2 loops done. And I feel like I can just settle into a solid pace. Right, there's a little bit of a queue. It's slowing down a little bit as we get to the technical steep bits. Good to take this stuff easy though. It's nice here because it's not so windy. That beach section was just constant wind for an hour. It's kind of sheltered here. Right, we're just heading up to the lighthouse at Kullamannen, where apparently it's the most technical bit. In the wind, it is really quite cold, but then as soon as you get into the shade, into the shelter, it's actually a really nice temperature. So I need all the layers in the wind, but when I'm in the shelter, I'm like stripping off layers. Right, been going for an hour and 50 minutes. Done just over 15k. And I can now see the lighthouse. So yeah, making good progress. And that is the first bit of cattle that I've seen. So hopefully we don't get too much of that. In the race briefing they did mention that there was a bull in one of the fields, which I am hoping I don't see. Here we go. Bit of a technical climb. Bit of a party up here. So quiet up there. Alright, I'm 3 hours 7 in. I've been going 24k. And yeah, I feel like we're just lots of people silently running around quietly in the dark. I think each of these loops is like about 20k, so I've probably got just under 10k left on this first loop. It'll feel really good to get these first 2 loops done. There's a beautiful view from up here, but no way you can see it on the GoPro. 4 hours in, I've run 30k, and I'm coming to the end of the first loop. Not long left on this first loop. Tell you what, it's tough work out here. We're out of the woods for loop 1, so just got to get down to the aid station and then head out for loop 2. Oh, 4 hours 20, made it. Had a bit of flat running and a bit of recovery whilst filling up my bottles, and suddenly I feel so much better. So yeah, hopefully I can get through this second loop and then getting onto the flat with a bit more fuel, I'll be all good. 4.5 hours in, that means it's like 9.5 hours until daylight. I'm going to keep counting that down. Back at the lighthouse. Nearly halfway through this loop, and I'll be really happy to be done with these loops. 45k in, about 6 hours 23. I think I've got one more big hill on the second loop, and then we're down onto the flat and we're moving again. Nearly there. I think I've just got one more hill on this second loop, maybe about 6k of running as well. I'm very ready for these 2 loops to be done. And we've now finished the second loop, or at least left the park. Time to go get to some aid station and reset.
Starting a race with 13 hours of darkness was a real mental challenge, and I found myself in those early hours of the night really longing for daylight, just wanting to be able to see the area, see what's around me.
It's so cold, it's messing with the GoPro batteries, or maybe they've just coming to the end of their life, but I've just changed one out. But yeah, got to the big aid station on the at the end of the second loop, so had some more drink and got to go to the toilet, so yeah, a bit of a reset. Put a new battery in the GoPro as well, so hopefully that helps with some of this recording. But yeah, we've only got about 11-12 kilometers now until the next aid station, so not a big journey to the next one, but yeah, it'd be nice to do a bit of flat running. Right, I've done 58k in 9 hours and 22 minutes, which is not wildly impressive, but I've done something like 4/5 of the elevation, so there's only 400 meters left of climbing, and that's basically all in the last 10k. So yeah, lots and lots of flat coming up, which hopefully my body's a bit better suited to at the moment. But I feel like the lack of hills at the moment, I feel like I've actually gonna have a lot more energy than I think. Tack. Right, we've just come down onto the coastline, and it is quite windy down here, so I do think we're going to spend the next 12 hours pretty much just running into the wind, which is not ideal. But yeah, just taking some more gels out of my bag. I've been using the Precision fuel and hydration gels. So I've got a combination of the 30 gram and the 90 gram gels with me, and basically started with enough gels to get me to halfway, and then at halfway I've got a drop bag and got gels to take me to the finish line, and we'll kind of supplement that with like Coke from aid stations, sports drink from the aid stations, and I do have a bit of like some like sweet snacks halfway as well. So yeah, we're probably about 20k from that aid station now, so yeah, we're running for 8 hours and 40 minutes, which I think means it's 20 to 3 in the morning, and there's people walking around cheering us on. Oh, crazy, but I love it. We're now coming along the coast, and it's getting a lot more windy now as we start to come round the coast, and the temperature is dropping quite a lot. It's getting really quite cold actually. A very bouncy suspension bridge. Oh. I'm now 80k in, so halfway. Been running for 11 hours. Oh, I just can't get over the fact that it's still dark. Like, oh, I really want the sun to come up. But yeah, sun rises in 2 hours, so it should start to get light in about an hour and a half. But oh yeah, this darkness is pretty draining. Oh, I've arrived at the drop bag aid station, 88k in 12 hours and 14 minutes. Oh.
During the night I noticed that my left eye was getting a bit sore, but only until daylight came did I realise that actually it clouded over. I had like a milky cloudy layer over my left eye, which yeah, was pretty unnerving. But when I realised I was probably about 3 hours away from the next aid station, so I spent a lot of time contemplating, should I reach out to a medic, should I drop out? When I closed my right eye, I couldn't really see anything. It was mostly just like a milky, cloudy layer. I could see like the outline of the horizon. I pulled out my phone and did a quick Google search, and Google indicated that it's pretty common in ultra runners on these longer distances, and that a few hours after the event it should start to recover. But yeah, it's easier said than done, trusting Google in a situation like that.
Oh my god, the sun is coming up. Oh, finally. But it is absolutely freezing. Everyone at that aid station who was just like topping up their bags was just sitting there shivering. God, it's so cold right now. There was like a super warm tent, but I kind of just wanted to get my stuff sorted and get moving. But yeah, it is a chilly morning, but it looks like it's going to be a beautiful sunset. Oh. Just about to hit 100 kilometers in 14 hours. Oh, a nice milestone to reach. There we go. I was going to say I'm struggling a bit, but that feels like it's been par for the course today. Straight from the off, this race has been hard. But at least the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day, and I've got 60k of almost entirely flat with a couple of small hills at the end. Oh, I can live with that. Oh. I'm looking forward to getting back down to the coastline as well. Start seeing a bit of the sea. Spent the whole night listening to it, so it'd be nice to actually see it. Let's go. Oh, it's nice and peaceful now, no wind. Oh, that's so much nicer. Oh, I thought I was going to be running into the wind again during this section. 105k down, 55k to go. Oh, the countdown begins. Been running for 14 hours and 40 minutes. Oh. I'm pretty sure that headland over there, you can see right in the distance, is where I spent 7 hours last night running around in the dark, tripping over and stubbing my toe on everything in sight. I think I'm probably going to lose every single nail on my both feet in the next week or so. And I did have one pretty epic tumble where I tripped and fell and rolled down a fairly large number of big sharp boulders, which wasn't the most enjoyable thing in the world. Right, 110k down, 50k to go. Taking them off. 50k feels achievable. Still a long way to go, but pretty confident I'm going to finish this now. Something pretty terrible would have to go wrong for me not to finish now. I am 2 kilometers from the next aid station. After this, there's 2 more aid stations and then the finish. So, that would be nice. I've been quite surprised by the aid stations actually. Like, the first 2 aid stations only had water and sports drink, and the sports drink, I don't know what it is, but it tastes awful. And so yeah, you basically didn't get any food until like 56k into the race. So if you didn't bring enough with you, God, you would struggle. Luckily I've relied solely on what I'm carrying, but yeah, I mean, it took me like 7 hours to get to that first aid station, so if I hadn't have eaten, oh, I'd be cooked by now. Oh. I'm surprised they've not even had like Coke at every aid station. It's only been the 2 where they've had food. So yeah, I don't know, pretty limited options. This might sound ridiculous, but 100 miles is a ridiculous distance to run. It's so long. Like, I'm probably on track to a 22-hour finish. I've got like another 6 hours of running. This is mad. Oh, I do not envy the people who are going into the second night tonight. Oh, can you imagine? Start a race at the beginning of a night, run through darkness for 13 hours, and then do it again the following night. Yeah, those guys are absolute beasts. If you do this race and you finish it whilst running into the second night, oh, I have a lot of respect for you.
Vi har det säkert, det är bara 22 koppor på.
I just spoke to a guy who's picked up an injury and he's walking it in. We've got 55k to go. What a beast. If he sticks out and walks, I mean, it's going to take me 6 hours to run it. Yeah, that's pretty impressive to do a race like this and then pick up an injury and not drop out. Very impressive. Oh, 120k, got 40k to go. Oh, making really good progress. Oh, and it is beautiful out here. Oh, kind of just taking it a bit easier now, not pushing for any time or anything, just trying to enjoy the back end of the race, which makes a nice change. Very different to the mentality that I had at the beginning of the race. I am knackered. It's pretty difficult navigating all of these rocks. Been going for 17 hours and 41 minutes. Jesus. Still going there. 30k to go. We've been going for 18 hours. We've just realised that the sun goes down at 4:30, so we're going to have to get a move on if we want to get in before the sun goes down. So yeah, time to start pushing. 136k in. Oh. Oh, 140k done. Oh, 20k to go. Oh, been running for 19 hours and 26 minutes. Oh, jeez. I will be very happy to get this done. Oh. Oh. Right, just went through the last aid station. Managed to get water and downed a load of Coke. So hopefully that gives me energy to get through these last 20k. We're just going up the second to last hill. So yeah, nearly there. 20 hours in. And I've got about 17k left to go. Right, first hill done, on to the second. Oh, 15k to go. This is absolutely picturesque around here, but my feet are in a really bad state at the moment, and the clouding over my eye had gone when the wind dropped down, but now it started to get a little bit of a breeze and I'm pushing a bit harder, so yeah, it started to cloud over a bit, which is not ideal. Oh, final push. Right, 15k to go. The final hill begins. Oh, I think it's going to get darker earlier than I thought, because the sun's setting behind this big hill behind the town, so yeah. Oh. Right, 150k done, 10k to go. Oh, nearly there. Oh. I am really struggling to run. My feet are just like an absolute mess. Oh, these downhills are brutal. Literally, like every step is absolutely killing both of my pinky toes and my big toes. Oh. I've been running for 21 hours and 22 minutes and I've got 8 kilometers left. Oh, wow. Oh, 5 miles left on my 100 miler. Jeez. Oh, that's going to be so good to finish this. Oh, I think we're heading down to the road. Oh, this might nearly be over. Oh. Oh, look how still the water is. Absolutely stunning. That's the pier that I walked down to this morning. I've got 5k to go. I just need to go past the finish line, do a little loop, and then come back and bloody finish. Oh, so happy. Oh. Thank you. Right, 4.5k to go. I'm in Båstad. Just got to do this loop and then head up there to the finish line. Oh. Right, I just hit 157 kilometers and I've been running for 22 hours and 1 minute. Oh, we're just going into the woods. I'm really hoping the turnaround is soon. But yeah, I want to head back over there as soon as possible. Right, turnaround has begun. 2k left. I've run 158 kilometers. Oh my god. When I ran the South Downs Way 100, I said that was the hardest thing I've ever done. That doesn't even come close to how hard this is. What a beast of a race. Oh man, I'm getting a bit emotional just thinking about finishing this. That's a pretty rare thing for me. Oh Jesus. Here we go, finish line. Oh, here we go. 100 miles done. Here we go. Here we go.
Crossing that finish line, I was just overwhelmed with emotion, something that I've never experienced in a race before. It was really like welling up from deep inside me, and I was starting to get like teary. There was just so much emotion and relief at finishing this race that, yeah, I was standing there at the finish line surrounded by 20 or 30 people, and yeah, something that doesn't come naturally to me. I was just struggling not to get emotional. Just absolute relief at finishing. I mean, what a race. I finished in 22 hours, 29 minutes and 57 seconds, but to be honest, the time was fairly meaningless. Just, you know, knowing that I finished was far more of a reward. Yeah, but what a race. An absolute beast.